How you doing, Try Life on family? This is Maurice. Welcome to another episode. Man, I just got done interviewing my homegirl. She's my homegirl now, Katrina Turner. She's amazing. And I found Katrina, I can't remember if it was Facebook or LinkedIn, but Katrina and I connected on social media a while ago. What I recognized about her immediately is that she has a try life on attitude. Just like me, she started investing in real estate at a very, very young age of 21. She's actually from Russia. She's an immigrant kid from Russia who had some family challenges, to include a very tough relationship with her dad. But it did not stop her from recognizing at the young age of 21 that real estate and wealth was a way to try life on more, not for the money purposes, but for what it could do to build lifestyle. And here she is after a very long corporate career. She's bought a ton of real estate, and she was able to get off the career highway when she chose, along with her husband, Pete, and start a firm called Capital Turners. They do apartment complexes just like me now. The thing about Katrina, she gets it. She gets that real estate is something that helps you design lifestyle. What she's been doing is buying real estate, plugging people in, putting aces in their places, having people manage the property so she and her husband can travel the world and experience life and plan it as intended, which is what everybody wants to do. I think a lot of people think that being a millionaire or billionaire is the way to do it. No, it's not that people want to be a millionaire or billionaire. It's that people want the experiences that they think millionaires and billionaires have. Katrina has figured out her own way to do it, and that's why I brought her on the Try Life On podcast. Hey, pay attention to the fact that she talks about obsession. Obsession is very necessary when it comes to going after something like real estate. An accountability coach, she hired a mentor to get after it. She surrounded herself with like-minded people who wanted freedom. They wanted to go out there and live life. She gives back to community by mentoring for free. Try and get her if you can. And the thing is, she talked about an abundance mindset, not the fact that money is everything, more so that life can be abundantly available if you are very intentional about it. Man, she gets it. Please sit back, relax, and listen to my new homegirl, Katrina Turner, talking about trying life on. Look, I'll explain everything. And this is like, we're just conversational, but I don't know what it was that I read about you one day. I can't recall. And then it prompted me to go look at your website when I figured out you had a website. And then I saw you bought your first investment property when you were 21. Yes. And then I saw you talk about the power of passive income.
Yes.
And then I saw you doing syndicating. And then I saw you in the IT Scrum Master field. And I was kind of like, I was like, she's my sister. And I've never met this woman. I want to meet her. And it was just a very life-oriented, whatever it was a very life-oriented discussion or comment or something. And that struck me as you are a try life on kind of person, meaning like there's so much life to be lived. Real estate's a great tool. It's not the only tool, but people like you need to, people like you need to be known. So maybe that's a good place to start. What are you doing?
That's so awesome. You know, it's funny because not a lot of people know what Scrum Master is.
Oh, I do.
And when you try to explain it to them, they think it's, I don't know, something has to do with sports and some, I don't know. They're just, it's a lot of possibilities, but no one ever knows. So to meet someone that actually been in the field and knows the terminology,
like I said, we're from the same cloth.
Yes, but it does give you a lot of necessary skills to be able to organize your life in a way where, I still use a Scrum board.
You
Kanban
do?
board,
a Kanban board. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I have to do in progress and done. And every week we have a stand up with my husband and we prioritize things. And I have a number of mentees that I'm actually integrating that framework into their daily to-do list too. Right. So it helps to stay on track. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how much the skills from corporate or whatever it is that you're doing from a professional perspective are transferable to what we want to do from an
Absolutely.
entrepreneurial perspective.
Absolutely.
Is that Bella?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, this is Bella. Saying hi to everyone.
Hi, Bella. What's up? Shih Tzu Chihuahua mix. I did my
She
research. I did
is.
my
She
research.
is.
So
Yes,
tell
but
me, tell me a little bit about what you're doing and Capital Turner and just background stuff, and we'll kick off.
yeah, that sounds good. So we connected, kind of to bring the time back, we connected
Yeah.
on the post where I mentioned you because my ultimate goal was to create that freedom of time, travel,
Mm,
income, financial freedom. So I left corporate about 2 years ago,
right.
and that allowed me to take that trip to back to my home for a month and a half. And it was amazing to step out of that zone where I was limited by 2 weeks a year of travel. Now I can travel whenever, my budget allows, whenever
Yeah.
I feel like, whatever it's calling. And it was nice to connect with my family. But I'm originally from Russia.
Hmm.
I moved here when I was 18. I came here to pursue American dream, and
Yeah.
a lot more opportunities here for sure. I went to college, finished grad school here, and I always wanted to be in real estate, believe it or not. Ever since I moved here, I was never connected to anyone in real estate. I just kind of was drawn to it
But why?
without.
Why? And if you moved, by the way, the Russia thing's cool. I definitely want to circle back to it. But if you moved to the US when you were 18 and you
Mm,
bought your first, I think you bought your first investment when you were 21,
mhm.
why? Where does your mind go at that point in life to even think to do something like that?
That's a good question, Maurice. And I knew you're going to ask me really good questions. They're going to make me think and
No doubt.
reflect.
No doubt.
Um, I guess I just did not want to pay someone else's mortgage at that point, as simple
Yeah.
as that.
Yeah.
I did not know how to build the wealth and go from there, but I just wanted to have my own peace of mind and land and place that I can call home. And from there, we'll see where it goes. Obviously, nowadays there's all those social clubs and networking events and a lot more exposure to that field. Back when I was growing up, I feel like it was, you know, all kind of secretive. Like I didn't know who to talk to. So I was just like, all I know is I'm going to buy my own condo, and
I love it.
I know it's going to be an investment property. So I strategically looked for it. So it's near the train. It was in
Hmm.
Boston. It's near
Hmm.
the train, near college. So it's going to be rented. But it was so small, Maurice, that when the furniture people brought the bed, they asked me, where do we put the bed? Where's the bedroom? And I said, you were standing in it. It was a
Oh, it was an
380
efficiency.
square feet studio.
Yeah.
You walk in and you're already in the bedroom. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. So when I did my first deal, and that's another parallel we had, I started with condos too.
mm,
In my first deal, I had no idea what I was doing. We didn't have Google and Instagram and all the
mm.
gurus and all that. So I would just go to the library and sit there and read.
Oh,
And I
nice.
just kind of figured something out. And I tell the story how I brought that book to the closing table. I brought that book to the closing table and had it kind of guide me through what I was supposed to do. I had this notion of freedom and I knew real estate could get there, but I just didn't know what I was doing. So the book was kind of my mentor.
Mm.
How did you figure out how to even do real estate at such a young age?
Well, I think to buy a first property, it's a pretty no-brainer. I knew that I needed small down payment, and at that point, first-time homeowner, you only need like 3%.
Mm,
So, and back then, the property that I bought, it was only like 175K. So I
mm,
only needed, do the math. So I found the realtor, and we looked at a few properties, and then I converted and I bought it. But it was, I did not know how to do the numbers at that point. So my mortgage was like 11,100 at that point, and I was only making like 45,000 a year, any.
Mm,
So my fridge was empty, but I made sure I paid my mortgage because I wanted to build my credit history, and
that's awesome.
that's that. I did hear most recent podcast, actually two most
Yeah.
recent podcasts with Siri and Nolly that you did, and they talked about, I think Nolly mentioned that his childhood wasn't great, so he doesn't
Yeah.
come with a, all perfect family. So my dad actually is the reason why I'm in America. So he
Okay.
moved here when I was 4 years old, and I reconnected with him afterwards. Um, but he's a very judgmental person, and I think still because of him, I am who I am, and I was able to kind of overcome all the complexes that he created for me. But he
Right.
was one of the people that kind of said to me that I cannot. Like, real estate is hard, real estate is risky, and he embedded all those fears in my mind that you cannot succeed in whatever you do. You're gonna fail because you're a loser, no matter where you start. So I think for me, my success is truly attributed to him and his words. And for a long time, I've been kind of trying to prove to him that I'm worth it.
Yeah.
And then I caught myself. I was like, Katrina, stop doing all those things. You're awesome already. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I am.
Yeah, but isn't that what we're like, the human nature is to always want to please our parents or prove our parents wrong or something like that.
I know, it just runs through your veins,
It
right? It's
does.
like it's a deep wounds. But with the consciousness and awareness, I was able to overcome it. And I'm a very spiritual person, so I've done a lot of practices and working on myself. So all that stuff definitely came up on the surface for me, and I became more aware of it, and I was able to work with it.
Yeah.
But kind of like learning how to establish a business and all that stuff, I think without him
Without him
talking
pushing you
down
that
on
way,
me.
talking down
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But he's no longer in my life. I decided to actually, as soon
Oh.
as I moved here, we kind of parted ways because I didn't want that negativity in my life. So I think another reason why I purchased a condo is because I wanted to be independent, and no one was paying my bills. I had no one to rely on, especially that we parted with my dad.
Yeah.
So
But mom was there. Mom was
mom
in
is
the
in
picture.
Russia.
Mom was in
So
Russia. Do you have any
yes.
siblings on this side?
The only siblings are in Russia as well.
Okay.
So I only had my grandparents here.
Yeah.
So they were a big rock in my life and helping me through things. But other than that, I think it's just me and my dedication and my out of the box thinking. And later in life, I read this book of, what is it called? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah,
Right.
everybody,
And
right. That's the holy grail. Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I realized that I've been following that methodology all my life, and thinking when the challenge comes around, I always thought, how can I figure it out versus, oh my God, we have a problem, the end of the world.
Yeah.
So
I just want to highlight something real quick. You're an immigrant.
mm,
I'm an immigrant kid. I can't say that I was born in Haiti, but my family's from Haiti. Like my dad and mother grew up in Haiti. My mother's
mm,
family was actually a little bit affluent at the time. This is back in like the 60s and 70s. But my father, no, not at all. Just didn't even have shoes. We didn't have running water or anything like that.
mm.
You're also a woman. I'm not much of a, like, I'm gonna play the card game or something like that. But the fact that you are both coming to a foreign country, doing what you did you realize it? Was there a mindset to it? And the reason I'm bringing it up is because there are probably 1,000+ people like who listen to the podcast or whatever who want to try life on their way. And there's so many things that people grab onto from status quo, or because of programming, or I'm a woman, I'm an immigrant, I can't do this. I'm not a woman, but I'm a man of color and I'm an immigrant kid. Like, what was the mindset behind, I'm just going to go about this a little bit different? And I think you're up to over 1,000 units of real estate now. What's the mindset behind that, just so people can kind of grab onto it?
I would say my success is dedicated to the fact that I just became obsessed with success.
Yeah.
And I kind of like one of those race horses that have the blinds on. Like I couldn't see anything else. I could see, I knew what I want, and I'm not giving up until I get there.
There's that notion of what healthy obsession. Maybe it's not healthy. I don't know if it's healthy or not, because I was chasing real estate with like a chicken with its head cut off when I was younger too, just going after.
Right.
But if you do have that obsession, it's getting you up every day.
It's a motivation for sure.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, Maurice, I think we're less fearful of things. We don't have obligations. I know you have kids, responsibilities that are creating that cloud of, consideration, right? So when you're young, all you have to do is just, if your head is in the right place, all you have to do is just think about, I guess you think about what you choose to think, right? My mind was, I need to create that financial stability for myself. How do I do that? Real estate, number one. And number two, I got my master's degree, so I was climbing the corporate ladder. So those were my two paths of stability and a financial kind of cushion, because I didn't have anyone to rely on.
Right.
But at some point, while in corporate and doing real estate at the same time, I realized I'm trying so hard to fight for that promotion or deserve that promotion. I know you talked a lot about that. So I think that's another point.
That's another point. Yeah, you've had the journey.
You're doing everything, but you're working towards someone else's goals. Every year, you're writing other people's goals and how you can support them. But what about me? What about my goals? Right. And then to deserve that promotion, everyone wants, there's so many candidates that want that promotion. And, chances are that you might not be that person. I think, to your point, because I was a woman, there have been at least 2 times that there have been a man chosen over me to become a scrum master. How do you, and I got fed up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy another piece of real estate and I'm going to give myself a promotion myself.
That's it. And I thank you for saying that. And I want to highlight something. I personally, like, I had a 25-year corporate career. Yours was very lengthy as well. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with corporate. I think there's something wrong with the way that we leverage it, or the way we think about it. You clearly leveraged it. It sounds like you did what I did and took your 2 paychecks and applied it to creating this path outside. And I tell people all the time, like, man, the corporate highway, the career highway is crowded. Like everybody's vying for the same position, the same certification, the same title, the same office. And if you can use those paychecks purposefully and create your own highway along the way, then you can get off the exit whenever you want to and just keep on rolling down towards whatever your goals are. How long did you stay in corporate, and when did you start to realize, like, you know what, I've done this real estate thing long enough, I have a path, it's time to go? Because I think that's the other thing that people struggle with, is like, a lot of people have a side hustle or what have you, but they don't know when to leave. And sometimes it's just hard mentally to leave. What was the transition like for you?
So I've been feeling it right before COVID. I was definitely hitting that moment. And then I met my husband actually in one of the local real estate group.
Yeah. Oh, Pete.
Pete. Yeah. Pete. Yep. And he saw me giving so much energy and effort and myself during those Zoom calls in corporate. And he's like, Katrina, we have large enough portfolio. We can support ourselves. I have my job. Do you think it's an opportunity for you to really fully dedicate yourself to real estate and grow our empire? And at first, the ideas sound great, but inside of me, Maurice, because I worked so hard to get to where I am, my ego wasn't easy to let go. No, absolutely not. But, I took some time to think about that, and it was really hard. It was really hard for me to let go, but I made the move. And I think the first year I was a little lost because I was so used to that 9 to 5 structure. I knew what I needed to do. but
Yeah.
I'm my own boss now. So I felt like I kind of lost my sense of purpose.
Yep. I know
Right.
that
When you're
feeling.
going through a transition, right?
Yep.
It's very common that we lose ourselves and we have to recreate ourselves. So at that time, we created Capital Turners and we moved into larger real estate investment opportunities because we kind of reached the cap with our portfolio that we manage ourselves. It's a smaller unit. The largest that we have is 6 apartment complex. So we're like, we can invest our money and get bigger return and scale quicker if we invest into larger
That's it.
deals.
But how did you educate yourself to do that?
I would say that there were a number of things.
Yeah.
Number one was we got a coach. We got a mentor that was pushing us, and that's also accountability, right?
Yeah.
We as human beings, it's so easy for us to give ourselves a slack, but when you're committing to something in front of your coach and you're telling him that this is what you're gonna do, and the next time they talk to you and they didn't do it, you're gonna feel really bad.
You're gonna feel crappy about it. Yeah, even if you have to scramble right before the call, you'll get it done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was number one. I think that was instrumental to us because he pushed us, and we also were surrounded by people that are in that same field. So I would say that's number two. So surround yourself with people that are doing more than you, know more than you, so you feel like there is an opportunity for you to grow and look up to them.
Yeah. Wow.
I would say
those two. If you don't mind, I don't know how much you invested in that coach. You're welcome to say it if you'd like to. It runs the gamut. But this notion of investing in self-education, like I say it all the time, and maybe you can just riff off of this. We'll pay 50 grand, 100 grand to go to college to get a sociology degree, but we won't pay 5,000 to go to a seminar. When I started Quattro Capital, my business partners and I paid well into the 6 figures for a business coach to help us establish the company. Self-education and investing in yourself as who you are, investing for the person you wanted to be, was that difficult? Did you know instinctively to do it? If there's someone listening right now who's like on the fence about, I want to hire a mentor, what would you say to that person?
I would say that you surely can get there yourself. Absolutely. For me, I wanted to get there 10 times faster. And 10 times faster is with someone that already is there and can help me overcome and not learn on my own mistakes.
Yeah.
So I would pay. At first, it was hesitation, of course, because I already paid for college. Why not?
Right. I got to do this again.
But
yeah.
Now I'm like, I wish I paid for the mentor versus paying for college. Because college, I mean, business school, I really enjoyed business school, but bachelor's degree was kind of like, party land. I don't remember much.
You're just having fun. I tell my kids, well, one of them has been through college, and he's kind of been through college, but my youngest is only 10 years old. I tell him, I have no mandatory college policy, but what you have to do 3 things, and my kid's name is Noah. You have to be happy. I don't know what that is for you, but you got to find a way to be happy. You have to be a good man, not a great man. I don't need you being like Napoleon or Martin Luther King or what have you. Just be good to people. But the third thing, you have to learn how to make money grow. That's it. You want to go to college and have that experience and go play football and all that, I'm totally with you. But the skill set of learning how to make money grow, like Capital Turners, like the way you've been doing it, it's so paramount. But I wanted people to hear from someone who's had success like you, how valuable a mentor has been to get you from point A to point B faster.
Instrumental. And I think when I was younger, I did not, obviously money was an issue for me in the beginning, and I didn't have the money to spend on the mentor, but I did work with, there are people that offer free mentoring. I offer free mentoring. I have 5 folks that I'm working with right now. I'm giving back. That's part
That's
of
how you do. Oh, yeah. Okay.
part of providing service.
Yeah.
But I think that there is, I worked with folks at work that were helping me with the mindset, but it was a different mindset. In corporate, the mindset is a little different, right?
Mhm.
Where I'm learning how to, as you said, multiplying your money and learning how to grow money. And that's a mindset of abundance,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So it's, maybe you call it spiritual or whatever it is, but it's a little different mindset than just, I don't want to be working. I don't want to be working more than 5 hours a week if I don't have to,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But in corporate, you kind of like, you're a bit of a slave, to be honest, to your career. And the higher you get, the more you have to work. I want to free myself up, and it's all about the opportunity cost for me, right? I don't want to trade my time for money. I really don't. So
Mhm.
everything I do on a daily basis, it's a choice of, is this contributing to my bottom line? Am I becoming more of I don't want another job, basically. I
No
really
doubt.
don't.
Yep.
I want to free myself up. So I'm hiring more people to help with our property management business right now, so I can actually be in Italy or be somewhere else.
You just struck a heart chord with me
Oh.
when you did, and I want to highlight it because people think that real estate or any business that people start is the solution. It's not the solution. It's just a tool for you to develop lifestyle you don't need a vacation from. That's my whole premise of trying life on. Whether it's a virtual career where you have money coming in from a remote sense or a virtual sense where you can be out in the world and be mobile and do the things that you want to do, or you're building a business. If you want to be out in the world the way that you and Pete are getting ready to move around the planet, or the way that you want free time for your lovely family, and of course Bella, then design your business such that it enables your lifestyle. But I think the mistake a lot of people make is they get out of the 9 to 5 and they go create another 9 to 5, right? I know people who started franchises, like one particular person, he bought 2 Subway sandwich shops. But in his heart, what he actually wanted was to buy something that created recurring revenue, so he would have time to go follow his passions and go travel. It sounds like you've constructed your business, or at least you are trying to model your business such that it enables your life rather than your life being just about your business.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people, as you just mentioned, that they kind of maybe that's how they were brought up and trained. They want to make money, and they think that they need to work all the time in order to make money, but that's not true. There's
That's not
so
true.
many different investment vehicles. Like the most recent one, we actually we like alternative investments, so
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
just a little biased.
Yeah.
But we've been investing in ATM funds, and
Okay.
it's been a very successful passive revenue. I'm sitting here with you, and on the 5th, I'm going to get my check.
That's what's up.
We're actually going to be hosting a webinar to talk more about those opportunities. But, even syndication, real estate syndication is, it's a passive, and it's freeing myself up. And every time I get a call from a property that we personally manage, I'm like, you know what? Why don't we just sell it and invest into passive
You're
opportunities?
shifting it.
Because I don't want that. I really, the thing is that people don't understand that you don't have to be actively involved in business. There are ways to get out of it. Think about, instead of how to get yourself into it, figure out how to get yourself out of it.
I
right?
think that's the key.
On your business versus in your business. But again, I feel like there's some people, Maurice, that want to be busy and doing something. So not everyone wants to be free.
I get that too. I love what you said about the passive side. To me, investing is very goal specific. One goal might be money. I got that. I'm cool with that. But the other goal might be you want to have freedom of time, and you don't want to be the head of the spear doing all the work. So you go the passive investing route, or you create a business with a partner and you like, look, partner, you take 70% of the business, I'll take 30% of the business. You do the tactical stuff, I'll do the strategic stuff, and that way that person has a lifestyle. The thing that you said that really was powerful just now is find a way to get out of the business, not stay in it, or at least stay above it. Like, I want to be associated to the businesses that I have now, and I have several, but the way that I do that is I leverage people and I empower people. My business partners empower me to be in Cyprus and all these travels that I do, because they know my style. They're like,
are you guys hiring?
Yeah. we might be. Actually, I want to talk to you about real estate after. But this notion for the Trying Life On family, this notion of what Katrina just said, what you just said, of working on the business such that you can create a lifestyle rather than being in the business all the time, you being the cog that has to make everything move. That's really important. And if you do want lifestyle you don't need a vacation from, if you do want to try life on, try life on more, consider, how do I extract myself from the business while the business is still operating? I love the fact that you're like, no, we're putting on more property management capability so we can go do more life, which is what it's supposed to be.
You want to hear one more thing?
Yeah.
So, and that stemmed from my connection with you and just watching you traveling. And I was like, I want to be like that. How can I get there? Right? Not just, I wasn't jealous. Let's make sure.
No, I got you. Yeah.
That inspired me, right? Inspired me to the point where I started to think, how can I get there? What can I do to continue to feed my passion for traveling? So
hit me.
We are renovating our house a little bit and setting it up for Airbnb.
That's awesome.
And everyone I'm telling it to, they're asking, where are you gonna go? I said, wherever I want to go, right?
That's what's up.
I mean, we have a pretty decent mortgage on the house, which, obviously we can afford it, but what if I can travel and my mortgage can be paid for and my travel can be paid for?
Of course.
So
of course.
I'm like, why not? At first, we weren't very comfortable with the idea that someone's going to be touching our things. But at the end of the day, those are just things.
It's just
right.
Things.
We're living for the experiences. Like you said, it's all about trying life on through the experieness.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's the price I'm going to pay. I don't care if people touch my things.
Yeah, that's hard for me though. I'm in my regular house today. It's humble. It's like I've had it for 10 years or something and paid off the note. And then I have a really small cottage on the water in Maryland, which I bought for my 2 kids. It's a long story, but my dad tried to buy something in Maine when I was young. He overextended himself. The bank took it back. It was a real blow.
Maine state of Maine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I grew up in Boston. I think you know that, but I don't know. That's another connection we have. But
okay, all right.
I grew up in Boston, but I got this cottage on the water and whatnot, and it's wonderful. And I keep thinking about Airbnb in it. I'm like, man, people are gonna be touching my stuff. Oh.
We'll have to talk about it.
We gotta talk about that, man.
We'll emotionally support each other through each of the reservations.
I need your support, sister. I need your support. But in all seriousness, what you're talking about, which is what I express to people, you are literally designing your future lifestyle now by putting certain assets into place that are going to support you being out and about in the world, right? Yeah. And curious, the friends who are like, where are you going to go? This notion of we don't know, I think is one of the most exciting things for an adult, because we don't dream anymore. We forget that when we were kids, we would open the front door and go outside and be like, I don't know where I'm going today, but I'm gonna go somewhere. That's what we should be doing as adults sometimes.
Yeah, and it's fearful, but at the same time, every time I experience that fear of unknown, that's the opportunity for growth, right?
It is.
So, and I think I'm the most creative, and the best ideas come to me when I'm traveling, because it's exposure to different energies. I don't know if you believe in that stuff.
I do.
So it's different vibrations, and I'd love that. Wherever life takes me, that's experiencing life on big time in all capital letters. That's like surrendering, completely surrendering.
It is, and we should. And I think people get my movement around the world mixed up as a vacation. It's not vacation. It's exactly what you said. It's exposure to different energy. It's exposure to different people. I want to be in a beginner's mindset when I go places. I don't want to know everything. Like if I'm in Boston, New York, or DC, I grew up in born in New York, grew up in Boston, and I live in DC, based in DC. I know how to operate those three places. I got that covered, right? But if I go, for example, to, I don't know, where have I not been? India. I've never been to India, and it's on the docket. I get to start fresh and feel something different and experience a different kind of energy, just like you're about to with Italy. Is there any place that you've always wanted to like post up and work from here and stay this place for a while?
Any other places that we wanted to go to? I'm just not clear on the question. Can
Well,
you?
sorry. Is there any, like, where would you go in the world if you could go to? I know you're getting ready to go to Italy, but was that like a passion place for you to go to?
Yes, absolutely. We had it on a mind map for at least 2 years, so it's definitely coming to fruition. And we're really big on goals too, because we want to make sure we don't miss anything.
Yeah.
From our bucket list. We want to go to Portugal and Spain. So that's next year.
That's awesome. You just said something, I think, what's a mind map? People are going to hear it and be like, what is that? I know what it is.
Mind map?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just said it. What it is for you?
A mind map. Mind map is like when you have ideas, you throw them on a piece of paper and you chart the path to getting that idea into fruition.
I call it backlog. Yes.
You call, oh, your Scrum Masterness is coming out.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely have. So we have, so every year we sit down, we recap on the year, reflect, kind of let go of the past year, all the good, the bad.
Yeah.
And then for the next year, we usually just try to outline things that we want to do for recreation, for financial goals and things like that. And, traveling is the biggest part for us. We want to make sure, well, last couple of months, we've been traveling once a month, which is great.
That's amazing.
But it's, it's getting a little pricey, but, I think with us Airbnb in the house, we'll be able
it's going to work out.
Hopefully.
It's going to work out. I totally get it. Well, I want to recap some stuff you said, because I think it's important. And then I'm going to ask you a final question. A few of them. I'll recap a few things and I'll put the other ones in an intro, because you said some powerful stuff. The first one, real estate. I know you started really early. It became an obsession. And I think sometimes healthy obsessions or having purpose is what we need to get up and go. Sometimes people are chasing real estate or some other dream just for the sake of chasing it. It fades out when you don't have that obsession. You talked about being part of a local real estate group early, and I know you met Pete there. Man, being around like-minded people truly pushes us, especially, and it got you to the point of creating Capital Turners eventually later. And then the other thing I really wanted to highlight, it was subtle, but you're giving back through free mentoring. I love that. And that's kind of what I try to do when I post or through these podcasts or whatever. My journey was so long. I look back on it now, all the stuff that I was doing, trying to get to a point of financial freedom, which doesn't mean money to me. It means time. It was long. And I think people can do it much faster, which is why I try and put information out there and then bring amazing humans to bear like you who've done it in your own way. If you had to give someone advice about trying life on, trying to experience Earth and planet as intended, or going after their goals, what would one piece of advice be that you would give them to push them forward?
I would say life is short, and don't wait for the things on your bucket list. So if there are things that you've been really dreaming, thinking about, and kind of pushing them aside, I've met a few people recently that, for example, were waiting to travel until they retire. And what happened is that, a week after someone retired, they had a heart attack.
They had a heart attack.
And then
I got sick.
Someone fell off the ladder and they died. So, you're only young for so long, and your experiences will change as you age. So try to fit traveling or whatever things that you've been thinking about doing, going see your friend that lives farther away, like whatever it is, whatever's on your bucket list, don't wait to do that. Do
Love
that.
it. Love it. And I always
And goal setting. Goal setting.
and goal setting. And you guys talking about putting your heads together on goals every once in a while. We've got 28,000 days in a lifetime. I always post about life in days. There's 28,000 days in the average 80-year lifespan. I have 10,500 and change left if that's happening. It really puts a lens on, I don't have time to waste on that particular thing. Or when someone asks me to do something, it's like what you said, I would rather go do the things in life that I really need to do. And I think we should find a way. And you've done it and you're doing it. And that's why I wanted to bring you to the Try Life On podcast. And you came for me. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Maurice. And I think what you're doing is magnificent because you're waking people up from that status quo.
Oh, I appreciate that.
With your words, with your podcasts, with your posts, with your mentoring, you're kind of making them realize that there's so much more to life than maybe they're aware of. So exposing them to different ways to try life on. So I appreciate you too.
You said the catchphrase. The biggest thing I want to thank you for is mentoring people. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for giving back. Thank you for mentoring the listeners on this podcast just by hearing your story. We didn't get to talk about Russia. I'm going to talk to you about Russia offline. I want to go there at some point. Yeah. But you really have a magnificent story. I'm glad I felt your energy. And whatever that post was, I don't really remember what caught my attention, but something caught my attention and I was right. You are just a wonderful human. It's my pleasure to meet you. And thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure connecting.
All right. Hey guys, this is Maurice, host of the Try Life On podcast, and thank you for listening to another episode. I hope you are finding it useful in helping you design your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. If that's the case, please consider dropping a review for me, whether in Apple, iTunes, or in Spotify. Drop a review, put some stars on it. Give me some feedback on how I can make the podcast better, what information you are looking for. I am doing my best to get information to you on the Try Life On principles, the 5 freedoms, how to build lifestyle, travel hacking, all of it. And I want to do it for you. So please do a review for me. And until next time, my name is Maurice Philogene, and this is the Try Life On podcast. Peace.